FM's 3 p.m. News. I am your presenter, Narissa Bostwick. On the local scene, Shirt's problem child James has won the 2025 Road March title. Problem Child earned 100 points to take the top spot with his song, Frayed Horn. He also placed second with his song, Pong Pong, which earned 97 points. Third position went to Ezron Spielberg Kolzak, who earned 74 points with his song, Red Button. Minister of Tourism and Culture, Honorable Carlos James, says Vincy Mas 2025 is one of the better carnivals we have had. Speaking on radio earlier today, Minister James said that from all reports and initial assessment, there is no doubt the economic impact is being felt and will be fully examined by the Ministry of Finance. The trickle-down effect and what it does not just for the people at CDC and the promoters and so on, but what it does for the ordinary man who is employed. Just look at what the total overall impact for the economy, and I know for certain that the Ministry of Finance will be crunching the numbers, Minister James said, according to a report by the Agency for Public Information, API. The minister added that such assessment would speak to the overall impact of culture on the economy of this country. A number of new elements were introduced for Vincy Mas 2025, including an extension of the National Festival to July 13th. Bernard Timothy Pompey, a 37-year-old of Grand Bay, Canouan, St. Vincent, ended up on 4 charges before Magistrate Douglas Frederick at the District B Magistrates Court in Barbados on Monday. He pleaded guilty to assaulting airport security officers Bertram Holder and Mark Buffil, Constable Kenrick King, and using threatening words towards the policeman. It all started when Pompey fell asleep on the aeroplane and the pilot of the connecting flight refused to take him on board, leading to him making a scene at the aerodrome of the Grantley Adams International Airport. According to the Barbados Nation News, Sergeant Ralph Rollock told the court that Pompey arrived in Barbados on an inter-Caribbean flight on July 5th and was in transit to board another flight back to St. Vincent. He was the last passenger off the plane, and when he went to the second flight, the pilot observed that he seemed intoxicated and informed the ground lead agent that Pompey would not be allowed on the flight. This was told to Pompey, and he became irritated and aggressive toward the ground staff. 2 security officers from the airport were summoned, Holder and Boville, and they repeated to Pompey that he would be unable to fly. However, Pompey insisted he was going home on that airplane, dropped his bag on the ground, and shouted that the captain did not buy his ticket and could not stop him from getting on the aircraft. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, RSVGPF, extends sincere gratitude to the general public, stakeholders, and the Carnival patrons for their exemplary conduct, cooperation with law enforcement, and adherence to security and traffic protocols during the Vincy Mas 2025 festivities. The RSVGPF is pleased to report that the official 12-day Carnival period, which concluded on July 8, transpired without any major incidents, accidents, or violent crimes. While minor infractions occurred, police officers effectively managed and de-escalated these situations. Commissioner of Police Mr. Enville Williams stated, "On behalf of the men and women of the RSVGPF and other security partners, I wish to personally thank and commend the general public for largely complying with the security protocols implemented for Vincy Mas. I also extend high commendation to all officers who worked tirelessly to ensure our carnival remained free from major violence and crime. This demonstrates that as a nation, we all can and must play a role in the safety and security of our communities." He further noted, "The commendable behavior of the public aligns with the RSVGPF's crime prevention exhibition team. Let's celebrate our culture crime-free. I also express appreciation to the management and the staff of the Carnival Development Corporation, CDC, for their strategic collaboration with the police to ensure a safe carnival for all." According to the police, throughout the Vincy Mas celebrations, Security forces maintained a visible presence and a strong focus on public safety. Numerous patrols, stop and search operations, and other anti-crime initiatives were conducted. These efforts led to the recovery of several weapons and small quantities of illegal drugs. On to news on the regional scene. The 49th regular meeting of the Conference of CARICOM Heads of Government opened in Montego Bay, Jamaica on Sunday, with the CARICOM Secretary General, Dr. Carla Barnett, challenging the regional leaders to recommit to the full implementation of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME. In her address to the regional leaders, Dr. Barnett said while CARICOM has delivered commendable results for the people of the region in human and social development, economic integration, foreign policy coordination, and security, there are still key hurdles to cross. The CARICOM Secretary General said the community continues to face numerous challenges in the implementation of important aspects of our integration project. Notwithstanding those challenges, she said after more than 50 years as a regional integration movement, CARICOM is well aware of its value and its potential as a catalyst for sustainable development, resilience, and global competitiveness. The Ministerial Council of the Caribbean Regional Fisheries Mechanism, CRFM, has approved the CRFM's new environmental and social safeguard policy, which will be a guiding framework to manage environmental and social risk and ensure compliance with relevant national, regional, and international safeguard principles and standards. The Council also approved the CRFM strategy for mainstreaming biodiversity into regional fisheries management, adding that the document signals the commitment of the 17 CRFM member states to ensure that marine biodiversity and environmental protection are integrated into fisheries management. During the council meeting, Kyle Hodge, Anguilla's Minister of Economic Development, Industry, Commerce, Lands, Planning, Water, and Natural Resources, was elected chair, taking over from the Turks and Caicos Islands. We have very important work to do over the next year as we continue to chart the way forward for this regional authority for fisheries and aquaculture across the Caribbean community, CARICOM, Hodge said. And finally in the news at this hour, Kenyan President William Ruto warned today against attempts to overthrow the government through unconstitutional means and ordered the police to shoot violent protesters in the leg, days after 31 people were killed in nationwide anti-government demonstrations. His toughest remarks yet come as the East African nation faces a wave of protests over economic stagnation, corruption, and police brutality. They want to start chaos, organize protests, burn people's property, bring disaster so as to overthrow the government before 2027. This is a democratic country, Ruto told supporters in the capital Nairobi, speaking in Swahili. This country will not be destroyed by a few people who are impatient and want a change of government through unconstitutional means, he said. You cannot sponsor violence and go scot-free, he added, saying any attacks on the police would be seen as a declaration of war. Ruto, who was elected in 2022, also said protesters who engaged in violence and taken to court. The demonstrations began in June last year as a youth-led anti-taxation protest, which subsequently forced the government to withdraw the contested finance bill. But some of Kenya's youth are once again taking to the streets, with protests last month degenerated into looting and violence, killing dozens and destroying thousands of businesses. This has been WeFM's 3 p.m. News. I have been your presenter, Nerissa Bostwick. Our next newscast will be presented at 5:30 p.m. Be sure to join us then.